What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Epiphyte Tanks build video. I'm in front of the shrimp rack, so you know what that means. We're doing a shrimp tank. I mean, you already know that because of the title and thumbnail anyway, but right, top row, already done. Everything's scaped, looking really good. Second row, healthy, doing well. I mean, there's one of the plants is growing at the top there. I didn't mean for that to happen, I just left it. But yeah, all the plants are healthy, but we need to scape them, don't we? So you're looking just as good then as the top row. So the tank that I want to do today will be this one. So I'm going to slide it out so we can actually, you know, demonstrate properly and put it on a platform. The only problem is the peace lily bowl is on the platform I usually use. You reckon I can pick that up without actually taking any water out? I think I could. I'm going to risk it. Oh, it's actually much heavier than I thought. Oh, there we go. Yep, it is on. So this is actually doing really well, this bowl. It's got just shrimp in. Kind of disturbed it now, but yeah, everything's growing nicely. It'll be absolutely fine there for a while. There's no filter in it anyway, so it doesn't really hurt. It's going to get some light from this tank anyway. Yeah, so now I've got this that I like to use to build it on. It's absolutely perfect to put the square or cube tanks on the top. So believe it or not, inside this tank we've got about 20 I think I bought. I can't even remember. They're crystal red shrimp. They're the really low grade variety, so they're mostly red with a little bit of white, but I thought they looked really cool, so I bought them anyway. I probably paid way too much money, but I don't care, I like them. But I've got to take them out really carefully now because they're all in and amongst all of this. None of this is staying, it's all just poleweed. It grows too quick anyway, so get rid of that slowly, but making sure as I pull it out that any shrimp sort of come off. I'll put the poleweed straight into a bucket of water as well, just in case I miss any. Or maybe there's some babies in there, I don't really know. Probably not though. My success in terms of breeding with carried in the shrimp has not been great so far. Not in this studio anyway. So the shrimp are all in there. I'm gonna have to catch them all, put them in a temporary pot, but their sponge filter, I've taken that out and that is just sat in the back there. So that's all gonna be sort of kept moist and good. Beneficial bacteria is gonna survive is what I'm trying to say there. And that's just whilst we're doing an escape. It means we don't have to really rush things. You can take a couple of days with it then if I need to, but I probably won't because I'm gonna go for something simple that should look pretty cool. Right, there we go, all out. Soil at the back still. I'm going to take that out. I'm not reusing that because I'm going for a gravel. Here are the shrimp. They're actually 12 in there. I remember now. I think I bought 10 because they're quite expensive, and the guy who got them from me just chucked in a couple of extra, you know, in case of any sort of issues. So yeah, all good. Right, let's give the tank a bit of a clean up and we can get started. Right, there we go, all clean and ready to go. Well, as clean as I am willing to clean it, as I always say. If you're looking for the sort of channel that spends 20 minutes cleaning the glass before they start actually building, you've got the wrong channel. That's good enough. Let's jump in and get started. And as always, you guys know by now, base layer of substrate. First of all, what is this? What are you doing? So that's the nutrient layer taken care of. That's going to provide all the sort of food, if you like, to the plants. Now, on top of that, we can cap it with our decorative sand. I want to keep the foreground really, really like thin, small, fine. I don't know. I don't want it thick in the front, but obviously you need to give it a good inch over the top of the nutrient layer. A, to stop it just floating into the water column constantly, and B, it gives you enough media to actually sort of plant into. Yeah, there we go, look, just a little bit at the front, and then come around to the side. Look, you can see we've got a good couple of inches there. I'm not going to be planting tons in the background, so I don't need to go too thick. Most of the stuff I'll be able to attach to weights if I need to anyway, but predominantly I want to keep all the plants on the hardscape anyway, and for that we're going to use some awesome elderly stone. I mean, come on, look at that. You could just stop there. The stuff escapes itself. 2 pieces of rock. It looks awesome, doesn't it? I could just put a load of plants in the back, a couple of tufts in the foreground, job done. But we're not going to do that. So I've got some awesome sort of thin branch manzanita wood. Again, this is sort of stuff you could just stick on top and it should look pretty good. And literally, guys, that's it. That's all I want to do. All I've got to do now is glue that point there and that point there. That'll keep the wood from floating up, and yeah, we're done. And the reason I put this wood like this is I can use it as a framework now to put epiphyte plants on. Small bits of Java fern, like tiny baby Java fern and Anubias petite, I think will work really well in this setup. We will need some stems, obviously, because I want to keep the water quality going. We've got an established filter, but it's always good to put stems in when you can. Even if you just put them in the background low down, you know, it's still better than not having them, I think, anyway, especially when you're first setting up a tank. Right, that's all set, absolutely solid in there now. Tap that, look, it's not going anywhere. I think that looks really cool, really simple as well, and I've also left enough space for our sponge filter to go in this area. But I don't want to start sort of planting yet, as in like proper planting into the substrate, because I'm not sure what I want to do. But I do know what I want to do on the framework, and that is place all the Anubias, Businesses, that kind of thing. So I'm going to do that first, and then if I want to, which I probably will, I'm going to add plants all around it afterwards, but not too many. And that's why I've kept this foreground like thin, just to make sure I don't plant into it. I want to sort of keep it open from there, moving sort of around, so there's like a beached area. I think that'll look quite cool. And I'll be getting the plants from here. This is the storage tank area, or the plant storage tank area. So this is where they just have water changes, by the way, the top two. So look, they're bubbling like crazy. Loads of really good plants in both of these, but it's the Businesses here. Oh, hello. Hello, my friend. Hopefully these are breeding. I've seen some babies, but not like shrimplets. They're like, I don't remember putting any small shrimp in here, but I've seen quite a few, so hopefully they're all breeding really well. It's been about a month, so you would expect so. Oh, I missed some of the glass cleaning there, but it doesn't matter. Businesses we're going to be using that, and the Anubias petite variety that is. So you can see it's smaller leafed versus this giant leafed one there. I like this, but that's for big escapes. It's a small tank, so well, maybe one piece would look quite cool with all the smaller pieces around it. Yeah, that could work. And maybe some baby Java fern like this one as well. I think that would work, but the rest are all quite big plants, so we won't be using those, not for this scape anyway. So what we can actually do with these guys, which is perfect, is take this one for instance. I mean, that would look really cool on a piece of wood, but because the wood in there is so small, we can actually divide it up into sections. So you just want to take a little look at one of the joining parts. Joining parts? I don't know. Well, this is called the rhizome. It's basically like a stick, but not a stick, that everything grows out of. And you can literally just cut it like that. And now we've got a little smaller part we can place somewhere else, you know, like it doesn't have to be joined to this then, does it? The root, it will grow more roots, you see, just like on this one. And then, yeah, you can just divide it right up. There you go, there's another one. Perfect. I just pulled off a load of leaves, but we can ignore that, can't we? Anyway, yeah, so we've got two. That one's probably a good size as it is. I can now take it off of that weight. I just had it on that weight for the planted tank, so it stayed on the substrate. But yeah, so 3 pieces there. We've got, this one's quite a nice sort of size already on a pebble that I've glued it to already. So I'll keep that one as it is. This big one, again, I think I want to keep this one whole. But we've got 3 small pieces, well, 4 small pieces, 1 leeks and 2 buses. These buses can also be trimmed along the rhizome, but they're already a really good sort of size anyway. They look great. I love them. Look at those. So they're going to add some really good contrast and, you know, different variation between the Anubias. All 3 of them together. Oh, brilliant. Okay, to me, that looks way too big. Like, it's taking up all of your view. I think maybe if we can put it behind here, like something like that. Obviously, I'll get it to stay properly. That could work. Then I could bring the smaller ones all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I like that. We'll go with that. Oh yeah, that looks great. Now part of me is like, stop there, job done. The shrimp will look absolutely great in there. But the other part of me is saying that if you want a nice, easy tank that looks after itself, that is nowhere near enough plants. So, you know, like look at all of my tanks. None of them are minimal, and that's because if I did that, I couldn't look after them all. So I like to set up ecosystems, stuff that looks after itself. The odd water change here and there, a little bit of a glass wipe down. Yeah, that's the type of fish keeping and shrimp keeping I like to do. So we need stem plants, and I've got an idea. So you see that tank back there with the Hygrophila polysperma just growing out the top? I think that might look really cool in this back section. I'm going to take it out and just see how it looks. Give it a go. Oh yeah, I think that works. I think it looks really cool. So you're probably thinking you didn't plant that in the substrate. Well no, because there is actually a plant weight on it right there. See that bundle of roots? That's just how I plonked it in that tank, and yeah, it's thrived. What happens is the roots there, they will actually find their way into the substrate. I tell you what, seeing as it's so easily there, I'll just push it in. There we go. Now the roots are all in there, and it should just continue to grow. I mean, I won't let it grow much further out the tank than that because it'll hit the top, but I'll let it go a little bit more, then I can trim it probably about there, and we'll start getting even more offshoots, and before you know it, it's just going to look insane. Plus, it can be something that I can farm for the plants, because even if I trim those now, even though they've been out of water, and then put them in a planted tank that's got water in, they'll convert. They'll just start growing underwater shoots from the top of those. So yeah, constant supply of plants. Ideal. Okay, that's cool. Let's keep going with this. Let's keep going with the polysperma. That's Hygrophila polysperma, that is. It looks weird because it's out of water, so it looks a little bit different. But I've got another variety in this tank. So at the back there, it's quite hard to see, especially with the film on the top here, but it's got like a Rosenvig variety, which has like a pinky hue to it. Ah, there's some right there. Yeah, so I think that'll look really good in the tank as well. Just keep the theme going. Oh, this is very different to what I usually make. I usually want the most vibrant popping greens you can think of, as you can see. But this is like more sort of darker tones, and I really like it. One thing I do want to add though, because I think it will go really well with it, is some S repens. Although it is quite bright, isn't it? I've got some down here. There's the S repens. Let me zoom in because it's really nice. This stuff's doing really well in this tank. Something about this light, this is just LED floodlights, guys. I leave links in the description. They grow a lot of my tanks really well. I don't grow the tanks, I grow the plants really well. So for instance, all the plants in here, look at the top. This is my Amazon tank, by the way, for those that don't know. Look, it's all just growing out the top. I've just got 2 LED floodlights. Looks amazing, doesn't it? Oh, they think I'm going to feed them now. Sorry guys, no, not yet. And yeah, down here as well, an LED floodlight. Again, look at the plant growth. I don't do anything to these tanks, by the way. But yeah, actually looking at it now, I think we're going to keep it like that. If I put the S repens in, the tone of the green is going to be way too vibrant, and it will just look odd compared to all of these plants that we've got in already. So keep it as it is. I'm going to fill up with water now. Right, we're filled up. Still a bit bubbly, but as fantastic as that looks, I'm seeing some glaring weaknesses or problems, if you like. There's too much of a gap in here and needs to be filled in with something. This is just my opinion, by the way. Many of you might look at it and think, oh, I like it, I wouldn't want to change it, but I think that would annoy me. I think I don't want to fill it out too much, so just maybe a bit of moss on some stones or something in that area, and some more mosses around the bottom as well. I've got a new technique that I've been using recently. It works so well, just to glue a little bit of moss to a little bit of stone and just plonk it in different places, and eventually it sort of carpets and fills in everywhere nice and easily. So yeah, you want to get your stones. Now I find that the sort of flatter stones, little ones, work better for this, just because you can push them flat on the substrate and then the moss is just on the top, so you can't really see them and it just looks like moss on the substrate.